You're listening to Brandon Sports Talk, interviewing professional athletes and Paralympians and Olympians. And now for your professional athlete interview and your host, Brandon P.
Welcome back to Brandon Sports Talk. In today's episode, I have the privilege of interviewing the Indiana Red Wolves head volleyball coach, Coach Kim McConaha. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well.
Thank you. Can you talk about how you knew that you wanted to get started in coaching in college volleyball?
How did I get started coaching college volleyball? Well, it wasn't a plan. Just kind of fell in my lap. I don't want to say fell in my lap at all. It's just, when you've done something your whole life, it seems to you kind of find your way into it, I guess. Like, things popped open. People asked me questions. Hey, come do this. Be good at this. My dad always told me I'd be a great coach. I never wanted to do it actually, but I coached club, when I was in college and just kept doing it because I found jobs when I went to Kuwait and I found a job coaching. It just opportunities came around. I knew I would be good at it. So, but then coming here to IU East, job opening happened and somebody contacted me, thought I'd be good for it and bring me back home. I said, okay.
What was that
So,
experience like for you going as a player to Purdue and playing college volleyball?
fantastic small town kid, farm kid, one stoplight town. So basketball was really the big thing, being from Indiana, it's basketball, being a small farm town kid. We had the outdoor, indoor basketball goals, played with my brothers. So everything I got in the mail were basketball letters. Didn't really know there's an opportunity. We just didn't have that to go play in college, but it's a hardworking kid doing what coaches told me to do. And then kind of volleyball, I seem to go towards that because, to be honest with you, I love basketball. I love the physical contact, but there's less running, and I'd be home for Christmas, and I wanted to go to Purdue. Got introduced to Purdue because the boyfriend at the time was going there. It's crazy when you get older and how the things just kind of work out. Purdue was really, really terrible at that time. I mean, second to last, or last in the Big Ten. So I was like, oof, I can walk on there. Let's go. Ended up getting a full ride actually. Went to camp because Jeff Holzmeyer at the time saw me and found out, small town kid that works really hard and super coachable. So something he needed and didn't have any bad habits. So it was fantastic. I mean, I think some people doubted. I'm like the second person to go Big Ten out of my small high school. First one was Barry Jones. He's a baseball player, played for the Pirates back in the day. So just, I don't know, no one helps you along the way until someone actually does it. And you're like, oh, just must do what I was told. Head down, grind, and do what you're told. So it was a
As
good time.
as a player, what was that experience like putting on that jersey representing Purdue?
I'm going to tell you this. I don't remember putting on the jersey for the first time. I remember putting the jersey on several times. And I remember being like, oof. We had the collars. It was so long ago, like what we call them waffle jerseys. They're from Champion, I think, or Russell brands. Oh my gosh. And when they would sweat, they weighed an extra 30 pounds. So oh my gosh, all the stuff. I'm exposing my age here, but it was great. I mean, you're representing your coaches and your teammates and what you're about. And I loved athletics. I could have lived in the gym and not go to class, obviously. So it was fun. I love working hard and pushing people and just accomplishing things that have never been done. You know what I really love? Proving people wrong. I mean, I'm in a small town. I remember hearing like, oh, she's a small fish in a big pond. And I'm like, oh, am I? Oh, I'm gonna set some records. Oh, when I left, or top 25. Oh, you know what I mean? So I was definitely meant for high level athletics because my mindset was that of proving people wrong and to shut them up. Uh, so great,
Coming out of
made
college,
history.
coming out of college, what was that experience like getting to play professional volleyball and playing internationally?
Oh, it was great. Once again, nobody's ever done it before. I don't know if Dave remembers this, but I remember playing for a couple of years and sitting down in his office and him telling me, "You think it's time to stop, get back here and get a real job? You'd be a great coach, all these things." And I'm just like, "No, man, I'm going to play until I can. This is so fun. This is my heart. It's a good time. I get to experience the world." Like it was just a different time back then. Now he says, "Oh my gosh, he's endless amount of athletes going to play professionally, right?" So I didn't have any guidance with it. I think I met a player how was introduced to it. I didn't know it happened. I didn't know there was this whole world outside of the United States. And one of the player from somewhere, I don't remember where it was, for volleyball camp at Purdue, she came and told me her story that she was playing overseas. And I'm like, how does that happen? How did you do that? And I don't know if I got an email from Bring It Promotions, and they had like a exposure tour. And I asked my mom, and a couple $1,000 or something, I think, and I went on it and got an agent and started playing. And it was a totally eye-opening experience when you go through something like that and have no guidance, no mentorship, and you're on your own. I've looked back at it now and I'm like, holy cow, if I would have had one person to help me, I don't know, it would have been, I don't know how much longer I would have played. You know what I mean? I didn't have any guidance. So I was just in there, just a kid, a doe-eyed kid, just having a good time, really, So not really knowing making a living. It was a great time though. I am who I am because of that experience for sure.
How was that experience like getting to travel and going to countries like Spain, France, and Switzerland?
What was it like?
Mhm.
I mean, and when I was in France, my team was really good. We were in the top teams cup. So I don't know how much you know, but we were in the Champions League. I don't know if you pay attention to soccer, but there's the clubs play each other, and then like the Champions League, we're in the next league below. So we're top teams cup. So I got to travel to Russia, got to go to Moscow, Belgium. Like I'm when am I going to go to Moscow ever again in my life, And I looked at this experience. Thankfully, I had a teammate from Canada. She played at Penn State. She was very level-headed and kept me grounded because I was having it for fun. And I'm in my 20s. Tell you what, I was out for a good time for sure, playing volleyball along the way, nothing to tie me down. And she was like, Kim, this experience is awesome. She helped me learn to appreciate what we were doing. So the experiences were awesome. The people, the culture. But now in life, when I go take vacation, oh my gosh, I don't like vacation. It's not vacation because it's short. It's a week, it's 2 days, and it's so stressful. I'm used to living somewhere for 9 months and just entering the culture, being a part, paying the bills, speaking the language, trying to figure out trying to understand the politics around it, the transportation system, just completely being immersed in it and learning how to do things outside of here. Oh, that has made me such a adaptable person, and I don't seem to freak out over things anymore because different ways work. But I've had several teammates along the way teach me great things, and then meeting my husband, I met my husband in Switzerland playing, and talk about really grounding me and making me better and understanding this world of international stuff because he played for several years after, and we traveled. It was his living, like it was our living. It was a whole different aspect. Mine was for fun, travel. His is like, no, this is put food on the table. So it was just it taught me a lot. I'll tell you.
After you're playing professionally, what was it like getting into coaching and coming to the college level?
Yeah, the right opportunity came, I guess. UC Irvine, the coach there at the time, she knew me from that exposure tour out of college, and she was looking for an assistant. And we connected, and so we were in Tunisia at the time playing. My husband we were like, okay, is this the time to go? We had our daughter; she's 2. I played again. I stopped playing for I think how long was it? 3, 4, 5 years. And they asked my husband, like, hey, can your wife still play? And he looked at me. I'm like, I need to see the level, how much commitment I got to make for this, and I played with them, and it was once again, it was a fun time, but I had been coaching in Kuwait. So when I went to play again, my brain is still coach mode. So maybe the coach got upset with me sometimes. So I'm like, what are you doing? This is not logical, but going to player mode, I knew at that moment when I started playing it, I was like, I am not a player anymore. Like, it's gone. That mentality as a player is like, you just show up to your job, don't question it, grind. I was like, that is out the door, gone. I'm a coach now, and I tried real hard to respect the coach, but I also was like, you're killing us, dude. You have no idea. And then when UC Irvine got done, I was super excited. I was like a kid in a candy store. We moved to California. My husband got back into beach volleyball. He's fantastic. So he got on the AVP. He's a freak. He's a volleyball freak. Like, God touched him and said, you are going to be a freak athlete. I mean, his vertical is over 40 inches playing. And it's just, I don't know if you know anything about beach volleyball, but he would go out to, oh my gosh, what has the pier sticking out of it? It was Manhattan, one of the beaches, and there's a pier out. He bounced the ball over the pier, like just on the height of it. And guys were like, oh, yay, now respect. But getting back into college coaching with it, it was an eye-opening experience because UC Irvine's culture is a culture I'd never experienced. I'll put it out there as a culture I don't want to experience again. It taught me what not to do instead of what to do. I know I'm an open book. I got fired from the job, thankfully. It was not meant for me at all. Wish them all the best, but it was not a culture I could be a part of just as what I am, what I know. And it worked out perfectly. We stayed in California for that year. My husband actually went back and over and played in Saudi Arabia, and I was in California with my daughter. I ended up coaching men's volleyball in high school and just to make it work. And then this job at IUE's popped open, and a guy that knew me from back in the day, from high school, college days, like, hey, the assistant position's open. You want to come back home? And I'm like, I think that's perfect. I went on an interview somewhere else, but this wasn't where we're supposed to be. It all works out. It always does. So getting back into college, I came here to IUE's as an assistant. And once again, I learned a lot of what not to do instead of what to do. I was getting my master's in the time from Concordia out in California online, basically coaching, athletic coaching, and master's in coaching athletic administration. It was a phenomenal degree. I loved it. I've learned so much from that. I utilize almost everyththing I've learned from that. I still have my, what do you get at the end of that? Your whole project, I use that for interviews. Everything's worked out. So going back into college, this is where I'm supposed to be. Let's put it that way.
What was some of those stops along your way as an assistant coach, and how did those help you to where you are now?
As an assistant, being an assistant's really tough, especially if you don't know that head coach. Like sports world, when you become a head coach, you really want the people around you that believe in your system and buy in. If you have a doubter or somebody's not on board, you're not going to survive. And so I think learning about being an assistant, when I went to UC Irvine, I thought I knew the person. I didn't, didn't invest in getting to know me either and knowing my morals and my background, because the way you coach is really based on who you are. I have a team right now at IUE's that reflects me, that reflects my morals and what I believe in. And it's just what you do, because you recruit people that what you think is important, right? Sometimes college coaches recruit people that are like, I just care if they hit the ball real hard. I don't care if they go to jail. I don't care if they do this. I don't care what type of person they are. I don't care if they show up to meetings. I just need to get in the gym and win me ball games. And then that's one end of the spectrum. The other end of the spectrum is I just need them all to be nice, whatever that coach is. So learning as being assistant is like, I'm pretty adaptable. Most people, I can talk to a brick wall, I can talk to anybody. I don't have problems with stuff. I'm not judgmental, get along with stuff. But as a coach, I draw the line, and I learned this quickly. I drew the line as an assistant when players got mistreated, and a lot of mistreatment happened. I got to see, emotionally, physically, just mentally. And I'm like, I played at high levels. I watched high levels. I know high level athletes. And I'm like, I made phone calls. I'm like, this is normal? Is this what I have to do? What should I do? Should I alert somebody? Like, this is total mistreatment, total emotional, totally emotional abuse here. What do I do? And unfortunately, best thing that happened, like I said, I left or something. But as an assistant, it's hard because your main focus is to make the head coach look good. You don't if something goes wrong, it's your fault. If something goes well, it's the coach's fault. It's the head coach's, it's the whole head coach of the players, right? So it's really important, I think, that now as a head coach, when I have my assistants, I'm on my third assistant. My first assistant, he's an assistant at Indiana State, doing great. My second assistant, she's head coach at IU South Bend. My current assistant, she's the men's and women's assistant. We'll see where she goes. But my job as a mentor to help figure that out, is to help give him a voice, help him build, right? It's a crazy world as coaching. Let me tell you, it's fun, but the dynamic as an assistant is very crucial. That's a long-winded answer. Sorry.
What was that feeling like becoming a head coach for the first time and coming to Indiana East?
That was a process too, because my back's against the wall a lot. I was an assistant here. My head coach didn't like me. I'm just going to be honest, and that's fine. And that's fine. I'm not everybody's cup of tea, but my athletic director, who's still here, he had a vision of me based off her vision, and it was hard. I was told I might lose my job a couple times based on some stuff. So then when that head coach was gone and I was interviewing for it. I was interim head coach. And so I got to show myself. I got the opportunity to show what I can do. And I was never walking on eggshells because that doesn't go anywhere, but I was doing my job. And so the opportunity to take the head position, I mean, that was a stressful time for sure because I was interviewing against two men that had some very good resumes. And I mean, I went in all those interviews expecting I didn't have the job. You know what I mean? I wasn't cocky. I had to earn it. And then finally get in that position. Well, great. I was already, as interim, I was already doing the stuff I would do as a head coach. So it's kind of easier transition. I already developed relationships with the players, making sure hiring the next assistant was very crucial. And oh my gosh, I'm so blessed. I got Justin Keene. He was at Marion, Indianapolis as an assistant in AIA. And I met him through Purdue volleyball camps. And I'm telling you, we would not be the program we are without him. He was just an absolute phenomenal assistant for me. He was like another head coach. And he's already came from Marion, knowing how to build a program. So me as a head coach in that position, oh my God, all I have to do is tell him, run, kid, run. Not kid. He's very little. He's like 4 years younger than me, 5. I don't know. So he's not a kid, but literally just see his strengths. And I'm like, please go. Oh my gosh. It was to get in that head coaching position. I was super excited. I knew we could break down barriers. Our men's basketball program had gone to the Final Four. We can make the national scene. So you know what I mean? It was very exciting. And I was waiting to once again prove people wrong. I love proving people wrong, Brandon. It's my favorite thing to do. So yeah, anyway, very, very privileged, very honored to get that position and still be here and be where we're at today. So
After getting announced as the next head coach and building your coaching staff around you, what was that feeling like stepping onto that court for the first time as a head coach?
not much different. I mean, I hate saying that and being so blah, but when I knew taking that class, getting my master's and stuff, it talks about your philosophy and your culture and stuff. So I was prepared. I felt very prepared. Let's put it that way. I knew the vision. I knew the direction. We always talk about whys here. Like, really, why are you doing what you do? And because when there's tough days and when there are just adversity coming, hitting you from every direction, right? We've all been there. You're sick. Your kid's sick. You got this class, something's due. So, the computer didn't work. Your car's not working. It's raining. Oh my God, all the world's collapsing on you. What is the why that pushes you to keep going? And so we talk about that a lot as a program. And my why I told my team, I'm like, my why is to develop young women. And not granted these days, young people, let's put young people out there and just to get them out into the world after with confidence to be assertive and to do what they need to do. My why isn't to win volleyball games. My vessel is to be a volleyball coach. My vessel to reach young people is through volleyball, and so I had an opportunity. I didn't have any mentors growing up. I really didn't. I just had really great parents and siblings that showed me right and wrong. But as far as going through the journey of doing all the stuff I've done, I was on my own. So I figure my why is to not hold somebody's hand, but just to be a guiding light a little bit more, I guess. So anyway.
Can you talk about, of course, the culture that you built for the women's volleyball program?
Say that again.
Can you talk about the culture that you have built for the women's
Yeah.
volleyball
Oh,
program?
I'll try to keep this short because I love our culture. I could talk endlessly about the culture that we built. There are 3 things I talk about for myself, for players to get to know me. 3 things, and it's gratefulness. I'm number 1, most important thing in life is to be grateful. You cannot have negativity when you're grateful. Number 2, integrity. Do what you say, have respect for others, earn it. You can't just get it, you have to earn it. This integrity is huge in this world. And also integrity to me as well means accountability. If you've messed up, just say it, move on. If you didn't do it, big deal. Like, life happens, but it's fact when you own it, you get more respect. And discipline's my 3rd. That's a big deal to me. You got to do the stuff that you don't want to do when you don't want to do it, because in the end of the day, it'll pay off. So our culture is built around that. And then now, granted, our cultures, I try to make it player driven as much as possible, but I'm also not giving this whole program over to 18 to 22-year-olds that know nothing in life right now. They know some stuff. They know what They know how their emotions run. Oh, this makes me feel good. This makes me feel bad. You know what I mean? So yes, it's a player driven program, but if there's within barriers of direction and trying to ask the right questions as a coach and be like, well, why do you want that? And you get all these buzzwords. Oh my gosh, I think my favorite phrase is okay, buzzwords. Good job. Now that's another buzzword you gave. Now, what does that mean? Trying to really get these young people to understand what the heck is coming out of their mouth. Like how do you act on that? Well, we need communication. No crap. You need communication, but what does communication mean? What does that look like? What do you need to say in this moment? What should you have said? So in our gym, we're always talking about name and action as communication, hey, when your coach texts you, should you text back or should you not text back? Text back. Okay, great. It's a lot of accountability. I am very blunt and to the point. So our culture is based on a lot of servant leadership as well. We serve a lot, do a lot of community service. That's another thing I think is very, very valuable. When you help other people out, you grow. You get something out of it. I'm a religious person too. I go to church and read my Bible and do my stuff. And I being a public university, we can't talk much about it, but each to each their own, of course. But when it tells you over and over, when you serve other people, you find a purpose. And young people, a lot of times they say, I don't have a purpose. I don't know where I'm going. Well, serve other people. You'll find your purpose. Help other people, be grateful while you're doing it. So our culture is based a lot about that. Our culture in our gym is literally, our gym is our safe place. It is volleyball. It is hard work. And that is it. There's nothing personal. Leave your baggage at the door. You just got to fight with your significant other, your parent, your classes are going to trash, whatever the case is. You're in the gym for 2 hours. You get to forget all that for 2 hours and keep the ball off the floor. Be with your best friends. I don't know a better environment to be around and just be positive with it. Do we all struggle? Yes, but you can do that in our safety net. So when I talk to recruits, we talk about 3 things, our 3 pillars, our volleyball. Well, first off is academics, our volleyball, and our culture. And but our culture sells our program. I have the most wonderful 18, 19 humans around. I really do. I'm super grateful for it. So, but it's been a process, Brandon. I actually just pulled out a big stack of papers when we first started in like 2019, 2018 with I came, and we had so many homework assignments. The homework assignments are like, why are you helping the team? Why are you hurting the team? Rank your teammates in these categories, how they're doing, and talk about who would be on your team if you had to battle for war, and who'd you pick, and just trying to be self-aware of stuff. We don't do that stuff anymore. We read books every semester. Right now we're reading The Power of a Positive Team by John Gordon right here. We've read books about habits and we've read books about process. And Brandon, like I said, I'll keep it there, but culture is growing. It changes. You can't keep it the same. The world changes, so you got to change too as a coach. And the coaches that don't change seem to be the most frustrated ones.
Who are some of the teams in your conference that you compete against?
So yeah, this team, we're getting better and better. My conference is called the River States Conference. It's in the AI here in the Midwest. So, oh gosh, seems like we're changing all the time, but IU Kokomo is a big, Indiana University has about, I don't know, 9, I hope they don't quote me on this, other schools around. IU Kokomo's one. That's a big rival. Rio Grande is pretty close. It's going to be pretty good this year. St. Mary of the Woods is also in Indiana. IU Southeast is another one in Indiana. It's a big one. Who else is coming up? I feel terrible when I don't bring everybody. Midway Brush out of Kentucky. We got Oakland City down Evansville, Kentucky area. West Virginia Tech out in West Virginia. IU Columbus, that's a new one. That's the second year for that. Alice Lloyd's Kentucky. Oh, I feel terrible when I forget somebody. Like, where's my schedule? But anyway, I mean, we're usually past every year, we're second, and it drives me nuts. But hey, it's where we're at, and I need to have players that don't like it and do something about it. Kokomo usually comes out on top, but this year will be a battle. Rio Grande's doing a great job this year. So
what is that home game atmosphere like when teams like St. Mary's would come to your home facility?
Well, we're growing compared to what I was first like, but we're growing, it's getting more exciting. And everybody's out. we got a target on our back. You know how it is when you're good, everyone wants to bring you down. So it's a great honor and a privilege to have a target on your back. I loved it because one more time, Brandon, if I said it before, I love proving people wrong. But it's me as a coach. So I'm just going to be honest. We are not always a well-liked team because my team, I'm telling you, they get along. I don't have drama. They're all best friends. Everybody on this team will be in each other's weddings. That's the goal, right? They'll be in each other's weddings. They love each other, but man, do they make fun of each other. Just like you would with your siblings. Oh, it's hilarious. They take jabs at me too. And it's a good, healthy, respectful way. And other teams see that, like we'll make a mistake. And I know this sounds crazy, but we have such a high volleyball IQ that when somebody makes a mistake or whatever, you're like, oh my God, or no expectations of your teammates. You're like, holy cow, what did you just do? Is your finger still on that ball? Make fun of them, laugh a little bit, but then also know how to turn it on, so it's a very healthy, for some reason in society, when things go well or they see something good, they don't like it. And that fuels me a little bit, but I won't affect us. You know what I mean? We will be who we are, but we notice those things every game. I swear I get at least one ref after a match tell me how awesome this team is, how awesome it is, how much fun these referees have to ref us because they know the game well enough and they're very respectful and they just keep it exciting. So our home atmosphere, sorry, I went off a tangent. Our home atmosphere is good because the players make it good. We have a good leadership here with our athletic director, but I'm still trying to make it better. I guess. Sorry, I went off on a tangent on that one.
What does that recruitment process look like for those prospective student athletes? And as a head coach, what do you look at in those prospective student athletes?
Yeah, recruiting is a beast of its own. We have a phrase, ABC, always be recruiting, and college athletics is your job. It is literally your job. You're always trying to out recruit what we have. The players are trying to make it impossible for you to out recruit what they have. Right? That's how it all goes. It's really basic ABCs. But the recruitment process, I have different rules probably than other teams do about where the money goes and who can get what scholarship we can get, or how much in-state, out-of-state tuition, all this stuff. Everybody's different parameters. And NCAA, D1, D2, D3, and NAI all have different rules and regulations. So we're always working around that stuff. I need to know what NCAA D1 has because some of those girls that will trickle down I could get. We have over 200 schools in NAIA. D1 has the same. And there are so many athletes out there. Like, I'm going to just tell any girl that wants to play college volleyball, just try and you'll find somewhere. You just need to make sure it's your home. There's so many universities out there and colleges that have volleyball. But recruiting it's always a battle. It's a grind. And you always got to be thinking about it. It's always got to be at the forefront of your mind because right now where I'm at culturally and on my team, I don't need bodies. Some places need bodies because they're new coach. They've had turnover. They got to make a roster size or whatever the case is. And I've been down that road before. When I first started, I needed bodies. And in the process, I got some wonderful humans. But now I'm looking for individuals that fit into our mold instead of just bodies. I can be more particular. It's fun, but also the pool for my recruits to come here have shrank. So for example, a team like Nebraska, any Big Ten teams right now, if they walk into a facility with 500 athletes in it, one or two maybe can help them. And all those schools are looking at that 1 and 2. Whereas I walk in, I could have half of that, maybe 200 of the 500, 150 of it could help me. Does that make sense? So recruiting is a grind because we've got a big pool that needs to be narrowed down to what fits. So, but we seem to make it work.
What is it like as a head coach getting to see those prospective student athletes fall in love with the campus and the volleyball court?
Say that again. The first part.
What is that like as a head coach getting to see those prospective student athletes fall in love with the campus and the volleyball court?
Oh yeah, it's like it's funny because they don't believe it. They just don't believe our team and our culture, what it's like. Because it's like a unicorn. We come in, we're like, we don't have drama. We go in, we grind. We are the most efficient team. I tell the girls, I'm like, listen, you're going to come in, grind it out for practice, put all your heart and soul into it. When you walk out of here, focus on your class, give it 100%. Like, don't compartmentalize, okay? So when these new people come on, I'm telling you, it's a shock. It's shock. They hear about it. Oh, really though? But they're coming from this stuff. No way. And so when you see them get on campus and be like, oh, this is nice. I can be myself. I'm loved. Nobody cares. Like if I'm goofy, if I'm serious, if I'm this, oh my gosh, this is awesome. So it takes some new people a little bit of time, but the kicker is, Brandon, the people that are vulnerable the quickest are the ones that get the most growth the earliest. I've had players when freshmen, they're really closed off. They don't want to be vulnerable and open up, and they take a lot longer to jump on board. And it's like, can you just believe this and open your heart and soul up here? Nobody cares. Nobody's going to judge you. Let's go. So the ones like this year, my freshmen, my new people, they have really opened up their heart and soul. They're happy. Like, this is who I am. Let's go. And they are thriving. I mean, I have a starting middle as a freshman. My freshman setter's been playing quite a bit. I got a transfer DS is technically a freshman, but she's been playing a lot. Another freshman outside has been playing a lot. It's a big difference. So it's fun. It's fun to see when they open up.
As a head coach, what is it like seeing those freshmen put on that uniform for the first time?
No, it's just funny because they're so nervous. But they don't understand either. The clock is now ticking. You get, let's say we have 30, let's just say we have 30 matches a year and they has 120. Okay, let's just say. They don't understand 120. That's their first one. Now we're down to 119. Oh man, 118. They don't understand how fast that goes, especially seniors now when they put on their jersey. Now we're down to 20. You got 20 more times wear that jersey. You start off with 120. Now I got 20. And so it's cool, but you know how it was as a young person. You just think this time will freeze, and all of a sudden you blink and you're like, holy smokes, I'm putting on my jersey for my senior night. So it's just, as a coach, and I've been doing this long enough. I'm still young. I'm only 41, but I've been there, done that. I've invested and I've watched, and I'm like, keep my mouth shut. My team thinks I talk a lot, but there's a lot of stuff in my head that I don't say, but it's just fun to watch, and they have no idea that the clock's ticking, so anyway.
How is it like as a head coach seeing them put on that jersey for the last time and putting on their first professional volleyball jersey?
That one's emotional, watching them put on the last time, and oh, it's hard, but so far I've been very fortunate. It has been their time to go. When they put that on, I don't know if it's something I put my mind to, but I know that how they came in as a freshman. And then when the time they left, whether I've had people graduate in 2.5 years, I'm fortunate enough to have 3 fifth-year seniors this year that really built this program a lot with their abilities. That'll be emotional for sure. It's always emotional because you know how much work they put into it and how much they've invested in and changed the program. How much they've done, and you think about it as a coach and go, I don't want people to forget them, but time goes by and the story gets further and further away for them. Right. But it's a great time. Cause like I said, when they're done, I tell them, kiddo, it is your time to go. You have given everything you've been given to this program, and I'm super grateful for it. I'll never forget it. Your stories will be told in the locker room. And now it's time to shine and take everything you've got into the next step of life, next chapter. You know what I mean? So it's just part of the process, I guess, but it's a good one.
What is that like, getting to see them go on and play professional volleyball like you have?
Well, I don't know. I've never had someone do professional volleyball. So my 5th-year senior setter, she might be the one. She might want to do it. We've talked to her about it, but I don't know if she will. I'm not in the area that they do that. You know what I mean? That's not, NAIA has some ability to do it, but a lot of people don't. And I don't know, Brandon, if it's because of the mindset of people in NAIA versus like a higher D1. People are different. Mindsets are different, separates athletes. But I haven't had that opportunity to send someone overseas yet. I might, if they want to. I don't push it, so I let them figure that out.
What have been some of the things that you've been able to accomplish so far?
What are some of the things I've been able to accomplish so far? In what regards? Is volleyball coach here?
Mhm.
Well, we went to the national tournament. We have not been the final site, but we've been to opening rounds, which is a big deal. Last year, we had our first team All-American, which is great for the program. Never had that happen. Just biggest thing is graduating the kids. They've been graduating. They've stayed. When I took over this program, people weren't staying. It was years of turnover. When I first stepped on board as an assistant, they had 3 returners only. They recruited, I think, 9 new people, 9 or 10. And I don't do that anymore. That doesn't happen. There's some kids that fall off. There's some kids that quit. There's some kids that I got to kick off here and there. It's like hiring and firing for a job. You know what I mean? This is nothing. This is no different. But I graduate kids. That's a big deal. So we graduate and we move on to masters, move on to life, work, whatever.
What are some of your future plans for the volleyball program moving forward?
What are some future plans
Mhm.
coming up? Well, we just got back from a trip to Costa Rica. That was also the first thing that we accomplished. We did that end of July. That was phenomenal. This team raised over $50,000, and they were willing to do it. So we had a time of our lives. It was great. I mean, it was very emotional for all of us because it came to fruition. Like all the hard, you know how it is, the process of stuff, and you got to experience it. And it's very, very, I don't know, emotional. Just all the things that you put into hard work and you see it come to life. Some other things, I want to do that again. I would like to go on an international trip again. That I would like to do. We try to lead the athletic department in community service hours, GPA, and I don't harp on these young women about, you know, people about GPAs. They seem to take that very seriously. Like I'm very fortunate about that one. Some other stuff, take more trips. I'm all about the experiences because I got to travel so much and I got to experience so much through this great sport of volleyball. That we've taken a trip to Florida. We've taken a trip to, it sounds exciting, but like South Dakota, but we got exposure. I'd like to do more trips like that. We're just trying to fundraise money and we're just trying to do things and show how awesome these people are. I mean, this is the future of our world here. So I'm trying to grow them and give them opportunities to go out into the world after here and be more confident, you know? So
What advice would you give those incoming freshmen entering their first year of college volleyball?
just be vulnerable. Just do what you're told, you know, stand up for yourself, obviously, if something's going wrong, but just get to be vulnerable. The whole thing of judgment needs to go. If people don't accept you for who you are, then you pick the wrong program. And then work your tail off. Oh my gosh, don't make excuses. That's the number one thing it's your life, your choices, your decisions. So everything that led you to where you are now is based off the choices you have made, not somebody else has made you. So just the accountability. I go back to the same three things I talked about. You know, be grateful, right? Have integrity. If you mess up, say it, be accountable, and then be disciplined. Show up early, show up and do your job and do the stuff you don't want to do. That's what I'm going to tell you. All the freshmen, those three things, you'll be just fine.
What advice would you give those college juniors out there looking to transition and leading the program as seniors?
Don't take it for granted. I mean, it sounds so cliche and like I said, all those buzzwords, but I talk a lot about for the older people, when you're gone, what do you want people in the locker room saying about you? You know, what mark are you leaving on the program? And what stories are going to be told about you? What do you want to be remembered for? So think reverse this. I don't know if you've ever heard about this, but a lot of people that don't know what they want, I'm like, well, this sounds demented, but think about your funeral. Think about your dead, and there are friends, family, coaches, teachers, all these people you met in your life, and they're sitting there talking about you, remembering you. What do you want them to say? And then, okay, you want them to say, you know, they've made time for relationships. Okay, then make that a priority in your life right now. But you want people to say that about you, then do that. So that's what I tell our upperclassmen. I'm like, what do you want people to say when you were gone? What stories do you want me as a coach to relay to the new people? So this seems to be fine.
What advice would you give those players looking to play professional volleyball?
What advice? Understand what you're getting into. It's different. There's so many leagues, there's so many opportunities. Understand what you're getting into, understands the process, understand it's nothing like the volleyball here in the States. Absolutely not. The culture and stuff is absolutely different. You are playing for money and you're messing with people's money. You're messing with people's careers. So it's a totally different atmosphere and culture than you get in the States. I could not speak to like over half of my teammates in France because they spoke a different language, but I played with them. And it is literally show up to your job and leave. If you didn't show up and do your job, you're going to get bitched out, from an older person because that's their livelihood, to put food on the table for their family. So when you go play overseas, you got to understand what you're doing. If you're going for fun, like I did at first, like I did in general, actually, great. But you got to understand it's not fun for everybody. These young women and young people are paying for school with it. They're paying for their car. They are putting food on the table for their food for family, whatever the case is. It's just, that's what I tell people. Don't mess with people's money when you go over and play professionally. So, and don't compare to the States because you can't.
What advice would you give those future coaches out there looking to get started in coaching in college volleyball?
Run. I'm kidding. I shouldn't say that. I shouldn't say negativity, but be around people that know what they're talking about if you can, and even be around people that don't know what they're talking about. I told you that was my growth. I was around coaches that I will do nothing like them. I learned what not to do and what to do. The more, it's just like any profession, the more exposure you have to it, the more you talk about, the better you get at it. So if you want to do this coaching stuff, you better get into it. You better find ways. And if it's middle school volleyball, if it's elementary volleyball, you better start somewhere and not think you're too good for it. That's what I think happens to a lot of coaches. And they're like, oh, I deserve the best team. You need to learn how to build a team. You need to learn how to motivate a team. You can't get the best team because you still got to keep the best team together. So I just tell coaches in general, just if you want to do this, then nothing's too good for you to get involved in. It's always learning experience. You know what I mean? So that would be my advice. Just get in and don't complain.
What advice would you give those head coaches looking to build their own program on the college level?
Looking to build their own program, figure out what you are about as a coach. Because if you can figure that out and you can design your program around what you believe and what you do naturally day in and day out, it'll be a lot easier. But if you try to fake it, if you're like, for example, if I was about, I don't even, I'm not an emotional person. I don't know if you can tell. If I was about emotions and I told my team that we feel our emotions all the time, I would fail miserably because I do not live it. I just don't. I can't get behind it. That's just not who I am. So do I have very emotional people? Absolutely. But it balances me out. So that's great. But like I told you, I'm grateful, integrity, and discipline. Find the things that push you, that you do naturally in your day, and then build your program around that to make it natural. Your players will believe and trust you faster if you don't spread the BS and try to be something you're not. Young people can see right through you so quickly. It's amazing. They're so intelligent, so in tune. You know what I mean? We have so many awesome young people. People think that these kids yet nowadays are so lazy, so this. I'm like, they're the complete opposite. They're perfectionists, which is a problem. They see everything. They're so in tune with everything. They can see it. They can see through your BS. So don't BS. Be upfront and honest. If you want trust, build their trust first, and then you can go through other stuff. So figure out what you're about, build the trust. You as a coach has to build the trust. You can't expect them to automatically trust and respect you. Young people start you at zero and they expect you to have to earn their respect and trust, which is asinine to me, but they're young and you just have to know it. So once you get that trust from them, that's the next thing you got to do. So that's what I would say. Just figure out what you're about and build that trust. And from there, let's ride. Let's go. But it's hard work.
That's great advice. Where can my listeners find you on social media along with the program app?
Oh, social media and me don't mix. If you follow me, I am the most boring human ever. So, but the volleyball program at IUE, it's IUE_VBall. Even run it. I'm so bad. I think social media is a fantastic tool, and I am just awful. I have my players or somebody else run it. Let me tell you what it is. IUE, that's men's volleyball. That's my husband's one. If you want to call it IUE MVB. Where's ours, Brandon? Where is ours? Let me see. Oh, it's IUE_VB. That is the handle on Instagram. Is that what it's called? Okay. I'm on Facebook, but I don't. And I'm on Instagram personally too, but I'm not fun. So I don't care about the followers. When you talk to my husband, you can get his stuff. He's got the blue check on his stuff. He can have it. I don't need it.
Thank you again, Coach Kim, for your interview, and best of luck in your future at Indiana Red Wolves.
Thank you.
You can find Brandon Sports Talk on Instagram at Brandon Sports Talk, Twitter at Talk_Brandon, and you can find me on YouTube at Brandon Sports Talk. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you again, Coach Kim, for your interview, and best of luck in your future.
Thanks.
You've been watching Brandon Sports Talk. Please feel free to like, share, and subscribe to Brandon Sports Talk on social media and on YouTube.